Being judgmental is the next chapter in my book, Only God is Good. I'm going to read Luke chapter 6, verse 37 through 42 in the NIV version. Then I won't have a discussion later. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. He also told them this parable. Can the blind lead the blind? Will they not both fall into a pit? The student is not above the teacher, but everyone who is fully trained will be like the teacher. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, Brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when you yourself fail to see the plank in your eye? You hypocrite, you first take the plank out of your eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Now, when I read that chapter, it's one of my favorite chapters because I know a lot of people go around judging others. People are quick to point out your flaws, point out your sins, point out everything that you're doing wrong, while they're not looking at themselves. They're not, behind closed doors, could be doing all kind of sins, but they want to look at the sin that you're doing. Some people are very judgmental of others. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. God will be the ultimate judge of people. But yet some people constantly cast judgment on others. The Bible also talks about people who have a log in their eye while talking about the speck in another person's eye. I have found that there are a lot of people who hide the bad things that they do, and they focus on the bad things that other people do, like they're so innocent. They try to pretend that they are holier than everybody else and try to pick out and find faults with everybody else. But in the meantime, and in between time, they don't look at their own faults. The Bible tells us to look at ourselves first before we start looking at others. There's an old saying that goes, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. I think there is a wrong way and a right way to correct people who may be doing things that are not pleasing to God. We first must be humble and let others know that we are not perfect and we all are sinners. We must speak gently with others and not in a mean manner. Sometimes it helps to let others know some of the things that you did wrong in your life, so that they don't think you are judging them. It makes people more receptive to what you have to say, and they may try harder to understand your point of view. If you are spilling the beans on the things you did wrong, then people won't think you're just trying to look down on them, and being that you're being genuine and trying to help them to become a better person. You can't go out doing bad things and then try to tell someone else about the bad things they are doing, because they won't respect what you have to say, and they will see you as a hypocrite. But if you are teaching them your experience of mistakes, you will find them more open to the things you have to say, because they feel you're trying to help them instead of making them feel ashamed. If you can admit that, hey, man, I do bad things. I've done bad things. I'm not perfect. I'm just trying to become a better person, and I see some things that you may need to work on, like me, and maybe we can help each other and talk about these things and see what the right choices to make. Um, it's not that we shouldn't feel ashamed when we do bad things, but you know um, we can all see the shame we all went through, and we can feel more comfortable and open to learning a lesson because we think it is being told out of love instead of hate. I think some people try to be too prideful when correcting others and make it seem as though they never did anything wrong, and try to make people feel bad and worthless. You know, we have to be careful to bring people up in the name of the Lord instead of tearing them down in the name of the Lord. Too many people are out there trying to point fingers and tear people down instead of lifting them up. I mean, we all make mistakes. Let's not try to criticize people too much and make them feel bad about the mistakes that they made, because we all make mistakes. Let's be loving in our corrections. You know, people need to know that whatever their sins were, that God will forgive them, and they can make a change for the better. Jesus didn't try to tear people down. He dwelled amongst the tax collectors, the prostitutes, and he became the shining example of what people could aspire to become. You know, be an example for people on how to live, how to do the right things. That is that type of role model can correct people. When they look at you and see how well you're doing and the things that you're doing, they can emulate you. Jesus, he tried to build people up in the Lord and guide them in the right direction and how to do good. He could have criticized the women who had many sleeping partners, and he could have thrown a stone at her like they wanted him to do. You know, everybody was trying to condemn her for her sins. He told the people who were condemning her that who has not sinned, throw the first stone. Nobody threw a stone, right? Because they all sinned. They all left because they all sinned. He was the only one left who didn't sin. And he just told the lady to go and sin no more. So a lot of church folk look down on people, and we have to change that attitude so we can bring people back to church instead of turning them away from church. So we got to be careful about judging people. Have a blessed day.